On April 5th, Peter Sean Brown, a Key West waiter, had surrendered himself to the Stock Island jail for a violation of probation. But when it came time for his release 3 weeks later, a surprise awaited him.
I did. I went up to the officers there, and I was just wondering. I went through court and everything, and I was wondering why I haven't heard anything about my release. And they're like, "Well, you're not going anywhere. You're on ICE hold." I said, I'm a U.S. citizen, so I don't understand where this ICE hold is even an issue. And I'm like, I'm sitting there and I'm reading it, and I'm like, ICE? What the hell? Then I'm reading further. I'm like, immigrant. I'm
from Jamaica.
I was like, ICE hold. I was like, oh, whoa. Immediately I was like, this is wrong.
Apparently, ICE agents created an official document wherein they printed the photo and fingerprints of Peter Sean Brown from Key West and added to it the name and personal information of another Peter Brown, a wanted criminal from Jamaica.
Immediately trying to explain to them, like, I'm a citizen of the United States.
Peter filed an official grievance at the jail for mistaken identity, but the guards just mocked him.
The guy that was doing the processing to let you go, he starts singing all these Jamaican songs and doing all this smirk and talking about, "Don't worry, man, it's gonna be all right." And I'm like, I was shackled at that time.
This American citizen was now to experience firsthand the treatment reserved for undocumented immigrants.
Getting through that trip there, you're in shackles, you're in this bus, and it's just... Then by the time we get to the Chrome Center, it was in the middle of nowhere in Miami. I was like, I didn't even know where we were. It was about 6:15. So we're still shackled in this van, hand shackles and feet shackles. You are Chrome. We're sitting there. They left us sitting in that vehicle for probably another hour and a half. Now this is after making that trip. And you got people that have to go to the restroom, desperately. Someone defecated in the bus because couldn't hold it, and they wouldn't take him out. So a couple of the people went. They had to pee really bad. So a couple of them went and peed. And that wasn't pleasant, So and then in the meantime, the guard and the bus driver, they're like, woo-woo. They get off because the bus smells. First of all, that's dehumanizing, just the fact that he had to get to that point. Agents start coming in. I got 2 sets of them. The first set gave me a big attitude and kind of was like, well, this is you, this is your picture. I'm like, I don't, because they had my picture, but I was like, I don't know how you've gotten stuff crossed. I was like, but that's my picture.
Got your picture.
Yeah, on this
and what does it say?
Paper.
You were born in Jamaica.
Born in Jamaica. I am a Jamaican nationalist. And later, as it comes on, they're the one guy got really nasty at the Chrome Center, and slams down this big folder. I'm like, what the hell did you get all this information in 5 minutes from? He slammed this folder down and he goes, "You need to sign these forms." He said, because this is you, and he said, you've got 3 days. He goes, 3 days, you're going to get deported. I had this whole file. I've been on the run for 15 years from them, because that's when this guy got all angry and it was my photo.
Took at the jail.
It was a picture they took from the jail.
So they took the picture from the jail. They put it on this file.
Mm-hmm. And I was scared, and I was really starting to feel helpless. So I went back to the window again. I was like, I need someone with some authority to sit and listen to me.
Peter finally managed to convince a guard to let him call his roommate and ask him to email a copy of his birth certificate.
At first they were like, well, you're not really owed a phone call.
And no right to an attorney, right? You didn't
Nothing.
have a right to a phone call, and you have no right to an attorney.
Which I didn't even understand. I was like, how could you not allow someone a phone call? My situation being a perfect example. There was an agent there, Camacho was his name, sat me down, and he goes, there's a big error made. he goes, he's a birth certificate. He's like, we need it. He said, it shouldn't have got that far. He's like, but that kind of solidified everything. I was like, you think? He then tells me, this Agent Camacho goes and tells me, oh, you shouldn't be having this problem. And I said, I should have been having this problem to the get-go. But I was like, let him finish. He goes, yeah, because the guy's dead.
Oh, no.
So I'm like...
The guy's
dead.
That confused him.
So I'm like, so you know the guy's dead, but you're still thinking I'm sitting here walking around...
So you're like an illegal immigrant ghost.
Ghost. I'm a spirit of that. Yeah, so... And then I hear them, like, in the background. They're like, we have to get him out of here, like, quickly. Like, do you have anybody you can call to come and get you? I said, wait, you just brought me all the way here
Kidnapped.
and are wrong for it, and then you're just going to leave me out in the street, pretty much, and tell me get home however you can. And he goes, by the way, he goes, papers that you got from upstairs, he goes, and I had them in my hand. If I had known, I would have folded them up and put them away. But I'm sitting there like, duh, like these? So I have them in my hand. He takes them and says to me, you don't really need these because this really wasn't an issue. He goes, plus we need to make it like you were never here.
Okay.
3 days I was getting shipped out. I was going to be sent to Jamaica in 3 days for whatever and face whatever. If I didn't have anybody, God knows what would happen. And one of my ding-dong idiot friends was like, oh, you should have just went. I'm like...
Yeah, free ride.
I was like, they weren't sending me on a
Jamaica.
vacation. I was like, don't you get it? I said, there would have been authorities waiting there for me. And then somebody that was in that cell as I was in, they were like, if you get deported there, they were like, they're like, you'll be tied up in that jail for like, God knows how long. And I'm
In the
like,
jail in Jamaica.
In Jamaica. They're like, and they're not too well with that. And now I'm just thinking, great, now I'm going to be an American stuck in Jamaica. God only knows. I'm a gay man, too. So I was like, great, they're going to friggin' just have a field day. Not wish it on my worst enemy, I will tell you that. Because it's just very... you really, really realize, like, it's just you're powerless. And you're, like, stuck. And it's like, and with nobody listening to you and giving you any sort of hope. Even if I had have been this person from Jamaica, nobody really should get treated like that. And I don't care, it's just, it's a human right. It's a human, just decency and compassion. And that was the last thing you got from them. It's just like, They really do strip you of your dignity. It's sad. And deal with that, because God only knows how the rest of the journey goes, and the beginning is sure not grand, so I don't see it getting any better. So that'll stick with you for a while.